Yeah. Good looking out there. Yeah. Ha, it's Flav, you heard? It's Flav. Check it, I had to get what I earned. It's my turn. Welcome to the show. It's Trenton's Tavern. Yeah. Ha, that's how we doing it. Welcome to the show, y'all. Enjoy. Robbie on. We are here to put this black Negro on the stand.
Why I gotta be all of that though?
You heard me?
I'm saying, like, jeez.
Welcome back to the show. Y'all know what it is, Trenton's Tavern. I got just a few cool guys with me today. As you can see, we got a third party. We've been trying to get this nigga on for I don't know how long. About a year or so.
It ain't been no year.
It's been at least 6 months.
It's been a minute.
It's been at least 6.
It's been a minute.
It's been at least 6 months, though. We've been trying to get you.
But y'all know who this guy is. That's my man, Red.
What's going on, everybody?
And y'all also know who he is, too.
Hi.
Because he was on another show. But if y'all don't, this is my best friend of 15 plus years. This is Robbie. With low, I call him Hop. I don't even sound right calling him Robbie. Like, what the hell? I don't know when the last time
You gave me that name.
That's wild. Yeah, I did. So, yeah.
What is the origin of that?
Okay, tell the
how?
story.
I've never asked.
All right, so y'all didn't know, me and Trenton used to work at the skate
Welcome
rink
to the
together.
show, guys.
Oh, I'm
Hey,
sorry.
no,
you're good. You're good.
My bad.
We're just gonna get into story time real quick.
So me and Trenton used to work at the skate rink together, and one day, it was a dead day. We was out on a skate floor, BSing, and like a rabbit, I just started hopping across the skate floor in my skates.
He did it. It was like a move though. It was like a in rhythm move, and I was like, "Why are you?" Okay, since you want to hop, I'm just gonna call you Hop.
I've been a hop ever since.
Okay, I was just
That
curious.
is just that.
No, that's cool. I just always went because I just realized all the years I've known you, I never asked that.
Bro, everybody calls me Hop now too.
I thought it had something to do with you dancing or some type of shit. I ain't
Nope.
fucking know.
Skating.
Okay.
Yeah.
Skating.
So we decided to. Well, they go out every Monday, but I tried to join and it didn't turn out well for me. So I mean, they're drinking it. I got my green juice in here and some water. That's about all I'm drinking today.
This is about as mellow as y'all will see this cat when we doing the
I
show.
am never ever.
He's chill, but he ain't never this
I'm
chill.
chilling. I might not even smoke my cigar.
Which I will be so offended.
Okay, I'll smoke my cigar. Just in a minute. Just let me finish.
I mean, no, we gonna be here for it.
Drink your juice and then
All right,
smoke,
cool.
and then smoke your
Drink your chai tea and we can go on.
Yeah, all of that. That's what Shorty was talking about last night. Whatever that is.
That shit, she said she was putting screwball in
Yeah,
there.
she
not screwball,
wildin' out.
fireball.
Fireball.
Yeah, she on
Yeah,
some.
she wildin' out.
I love it to death. That's some white people shit.
Yeah, but
Okay.
welcome back to the show, guys. Thank you. Like I've always said, for all of the support, all of the, likes, comments, all of that good stuff. I'm going to flood you guys with episodes coming up because I've been holding back. We like 4 or 5 episodes behind. And I got to get those out before the new year because we're going to start fresh in the new year. So thank you just for the continuous support. I think we're at 425 subscribers now, which means it's going up. We almost to 500.
500?
Almost. Got like 75 more to get to 500, which I think we'll get that real soon. So thank you guys for all of the support.
Spread the word.
Spread the word of mouth. You know how I go. Continue to like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Because it's just gonna get better from here on out. You know what I mean? So today we're gonna jump into the topic of the day, and we're gonna get the serious stuff out first because he is, as you guys know, a police officer, so we wanted to ask him a few questions about, the temperature in the room and other country and all of that stuff, reading the room and all of that good stuff. So we got a few questions for him, but then we're gonna get into some other topics because these two niggas, they just don't understand. Like, I don't understand their logic in some things, and I need you guys to help with this because to me makes sense. But these two don't understand, like what they have to say about it also makes sense.
Listen,
but
we'll get into that later.
yeah, we'll get into
We'll
it.
get into
but
that later.
whatever, because we argued about this for about 2 hours last night.
I'd be glad when this blows up so we can literally, we need to do an episode at the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and it's
with that.
raw,
With
uncut,
that.
That'd be lit.
unfiltered truth. Because I guarantee whatever conversation we have today, it'll be entertaining. It's not gonna be not like last night was.
No, the theatrics and everything.
Yeah.
Last night we was standing up on tables, bringing other people into the conversation. Yo, come here. What is your explanation of exclusive? Yeah, that was fun though. That was cool last night.
That's what we do.
Yeah, but we gonna jump into it. Get into these questions, and just remember, he can't say everything because he is a police officer. So if it seems a little bit, because y'all know me and Red, y'all know him. Like we not censored at all, but some things you just can't talk about legally and shit. So
we talked about. And he hasn't uploaded the episode yet, but I believe it was the last one we did. We talked a little bit about, make sure I say his name right because I did say it wrong last time. Casey Goodson.
Yep.
Yeah. For those of y'all wanting to hear more on that,
just look it up.
yeah, because we can't.
Yeah,
we can talk about it.
He can't.
He cannot right now because everything is still so active. So those of y'all that were hoping for us to expound on that later, maybe that'll be one of our episodes in the new year. Like he said, for now, just Google what you want to know. That is not a subject we will talk about today because he can't talk about it because what he does for a living. We can talk about some of the other ones to get a different opinion, but that one, because it is so fresh and because of what's still going on, that one we cannot discuss.
Down a little bit.
Tried to hit that motherfucker too hard. Relax, bro.
Man, relax, bro. All right, so we could just jump into that.
What you got?
Red, do you have a question that you want to ask first?
Question, statement, moans, groans, complaints?
Anything. What I wanted to know is, although he is my godson and everything like that, I'm not I don't live the dad life. You know what I mean? So I wanted to know, like, with the world, as you and I and Red always spoke about, you know, I mean, we speak about it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
None of this that's happening is going anywhere. It's just gonna get worse.
Yeah, unfortunately.
You know what I mean? It's just gonna get worse what's going on in the world today. So as a black police officer in America, also raising a young black boy in America, like, how do you, because you see this stuff every day, you gotta deal with it every day. What is the things that as he gets older, like what's some of the things that you teach him? You know what I mean, to be the change, pretty much. You know what I mean? Like, not stereotypical. You know what I mean? Like, that's one question. The other question is, how much do you think, like, it'll affect him once he gets older and people realize that his dad is a cop? Like, because that could be a good thing or it could be a negative thing.
True.
And they could target him because of that.
True.
So, how do you deal with that?
Well, number one, I'm a big proponent, and I truly honestly believe that it starts at home. Everything starts at home. It's funny because he recognizes my uniform.
Mm-hmm.
He knows, like, who the police are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he loves lights and sirens and all that stuff. So right now it's fun, and I kind of have to keep it that way right now while he's young. And then as he gets older, I'll get a little deeper into, you know, what I actually do for a living. And from there, you know, I have to be, you know, the best dad and the best police officer that I can, and just be a role model. Like, he's going to see a lot of stuff. He's going to be exposed to a lot of stuff. And he's gonna have questions, and all I can do is be truthful and honest with those questions. It's different because, you know, every day I go to work, I have to think I might not come back home. So I'm just having fun with him. For real, that's it. Like, when I'm in uniform, I play with him. He's not scared to be around me in uniform. He's not scared to be around other officers.
Okay, that's cool.
Which is great. Yeah. Parents, stop telling your kids that we're gonna arrest them. Stop it. Cut that out. You're making them scared of us. They don't need to be scared of us. Stop that.
Well, what do you say about the people that, like, okay, so before I ask that question, How do you think that in the long run is gonna eventually affect him? Like
I'm sure it will.
targeted.
I don't think he'll be targeted. It's definitely going to come out. But again, it's up to me to put the right. What's the word I'm looking for? It's up to me to put it out to him, who I am and what I do, and for him to respect me and understand that this is what I do for a living.
Thank you for calling Plan B. Please hold.
So what do you say to the people that you said tell them you know stop telling your kids that we're gonna arrest them, blah blah blah? What do you say to the people that say, well, they should be scared of y'all because you're out here killing innocent people? Like, what do you say to that? Like, I mean, it's not a. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a parent, and I don't think that that's a good tactic. You know what I mean, for that. But you kind of got to understand where they're coming from a little bit.
No, I do.
Just a little bit.
I do. But here's the problem with a lot of that is who has the facts. Who really knows what's factual and true, and who knows what they see on TV and social media. That's a huge difference. When it comes down to it, what are the facts?
Yeah.
And that's the problem. That's a lot of the problem with today, is we can put information out like that.
Right.
It's not always factual, it's not always true. And people take it and run with it. And then the facts come out 2 weeks later, but it's too late. Nobody cares anymore because now everybody's already formed their opinion.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of the issue that we face right now.
Everything that has happened this year, and we're literally just gonna go this year. I'm not going all the way back to Tamir Rice, none of them other ones. Just the ones this year. What facts can you give from your view as a police officer? And you have to be careful how you answer this, because I'm trying to challenge you based on your answer. Because
I can hear it.
Well, because I think some of that was some bullshit, and I'll get to that in a minute. Of the ones that happened this year, what facts can you put out there to where anything that happened this year has been justifiable?
It's been a lot though.
No. There, in my opinion, the only one to me that you can debate, which is the one we debated and we got heated on, was Breonna Taylor. In part because that was the only one where there is no video.
Right.
There's no nothing.
But for the
So in that instance, what he said makes absolute sense, because there's no picture, there's no nothing.
right.
There's what people heard on a police scanner, whoever lived next door, whoever talked to Channel 5 first. That supports his answer. Floyd, Jacob Bell, like the ones we see that are actual videos, which to me with those, the facts don't matter. It's the essence of the video. Like, what can be said to where the facts overwhelm what you see right there on that video? Because both of those cases, right, wrong, or indifferent, didn't matter what George did, didn't matter what they were going to see Jacob for. Those two instances right there, I don't care how you slice it, that was murder. To me. And I'm only speaking for me. I'm not speaking for him, no other black person, white person, anybody watching this. To me, both of those were murder. So how does factor, we can just use those two, so since those were clear cut on video, what facts, how does that change, or how does that bring light to what was seen on the video, first of all, and secondly, for those, not you personally, to some of your brethren trying to justify it?
So, unfortunately, we're human, and we always try to justify our actions, like you said, whether it be right or wrong. That's what we do. I, for one, because I wear one, I'm a huge proponent of body cams now. I used to hate it. I love it now. When it's on video, like it's very hard to argue with it. But unfortunately, how do I want to say this? video only shows one side. It only shows one side. Now, I'm not justifying anybody's actions, but it only shows one side. There's 3 sides to every story. Your side, my side, and the truth.
Mm-hmm.
The truth is what we're trying to get to. Now, the problem, like everybody says, is with video, it can be edited or whatever. With George Floyd, I'll tell you that also was wrong. I can't tell you a cop in the country trained that way. Not at all. I think what happened in that situation is he went to what we call conditioned black. He just blacked out for a minute. Forgot what he was doing. I don't think it was done maliciously, but for some of us, I've seen it. Being on camera and being in heated situations like that, you lose where you're at. And it sucks. It shouldn't be that way. We're not trained that way. But I think that's what happened in that situation. Jacob Bell.
One in Milwaukee where they shot him in the back.
So
3 of them, 1 of him.
there's a big thing right now, especially about people being shot in the back. It can be justified. It can. Because it takes nothing to do this and run. It's got to come down to some of the facts, which I don't have all the facts of that one. So it's hard for me to comment on it.
I feel that's kind of a bullshit answer. And here's the reason I say that. And I get what you're saying, okay, yeah. Somebody can turn and do that. Facts or no facts. The video that you saw on television, he was covered from 3 different angles with nothing in his hand. Now, I will give you the one thing. Yeah, I don't want to call him stupid, but it was foolish what he did. They got guns pointed out. I don't care if you black, white, you don't walk to the car, right? You don't.
Yeah.
That part is on him, but my bigger problem with that is, again, not you, but y'all let him walk to the car.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the whole part of that. When watching that, I'm like,
Yeah.
why didn't somebody just tackle him? Man, if you got one motherfucker with his gun out saying don't move, and this motherfucker keeps walking, there's 3 of y'all, 1 of him, and he didn't look like Debo or nobody. He looked like an average size dude. 3 of y'all can't grab him.
So let me say this. The department that I work for, we do a lot of scenario-based training. I know a lot of departments who don't. So in other words, we come up with scenarios and we take stuff like that from all over the country and we put our officers through it. We put you in a high-stress situation on purpose. If we can get you there in training in a sterile environment, when it happens out on the street, we can only hope that you react how you're trained. In that situation, I'm not gonna lie, you're right, they should have tackled it. There's 3 of y'all. I love going hands-on with people. It's easy.
I don't know if you should admit that on camera. He
might edit
that out.
Edit
It might be a little bad for you.
But going hands-on, it's easy. Now, a lot of people like to argue, well, why does it take 4 of y'all to restrain one person? 4 people on one person, everybody likes those odds, right?
No, as a former bouncer, I agree. I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
If I could always take somebody with me to go handle something, yeah, somebody was coming with me because some people, and I've seen it, some people do get dumb strength.
Oh yeah.
That motherfucker that looked like an ant could have the strength of a motherfucking Ronnie Coleman and completely catch you motherfucking off guard. Right, I'm just saying, so that part I understand. My disconnect with the whole thing is it's like, let me ask, okay. He didn't die. In your mind, was that attempted murder?
Shooting in the back.
Well, you can call it that because we're not trained to wound.
I'm not asking you what you call it. I'm asking for your opinion. This is an opinion-based thing.
Well, okay, that one it is opinionated, and it's not because unfortunately different states.
I'll take it down one. Manslaughter.
again, it's hard to say it. Here where we're at, it could be considered that.
What, manslaughter or attempted murder?
Probably either. It just depends on how a prosecutor and a court want to go about it.
To me personally, I think all three of them should be fired for being stupid.
Again, I mean, a lot of it, like I said, it comes down to and this is another thing that people got to realize is states are governed differently, state by state, city by city. Laws are different. That's why not everything is cut and dry.
Yeah, but murder's the same everywhere.
True, but a lot of it comes down to the articulation of the law.
So how do y'all weed out the idiots? Like, because the idiots are the one that's giving y'all the bad rep. And me and Red talked about it multiple times. I think it's bad everything, but some certain professions you're not allowed to have a bad day. Like a surgeon can't have a bad day. Like a firefighter can't have a bad day. A doctor can't really have a bad day because that's detrimental to somebody's life.
Like I don't understand. Like I don't understand why it takes all the red tape, because like a nurse, she, or there are male nurses, so I want to be correct. You know, she or he, they give a patient the wrong medicine. That's life. Even if it's a mistake. Even if it's a mistake. Now they might not go to jail. They can't be a nurse no more. Mm-hmm. They get fired like damn near immediately. Yeah, you have your so-called administrative whatever y'all call it, but at the end of the day, they still get fired. Where is the break in the system to where you see so many? I'm not even talking about the court shit, because that's, in some ways, it's kind of, you're right, that's kind of a separate conversation. But how do some of these people, and I'm not talking about the questionable ones. I can't think of a questionable one. Like the only questionable one I can think of, and I said I didn't want to do this because it's a couple years old, because was Eric Garner. Mm-hmm. The way they took him down, because I've been in a situation like that. The size of that person, when you put them on their stomach, you're doomed from the start. Yeah. If you don't get them subdued quickly, because all that shit pressing against like your esophagus, your lung, you're asking for somebody to choke out, whether you mean to do it or not. So like, what is on the ones that appear to be clear cut? Because like he said, you guys have a profession to where you can't really, you know, he goes to work, he fucks something else. The most that's gonna happen is, you know, somebody's credit card fucked up. I go to work, I fuck something up. Somebody's getting the wrong oatmeal and the wrong type of Gatorade. So I'm just saying, that's the least that can happen. You go to work, you having a bad day because you mad at this chick, or your son didn't piss you off, or whatever. You have a bad day. Your bad day can change lives in a terrible way. So why is it that some of these people are not fired? Because you can still have a second chance. Because I'm a firm believer that most people for most crimes, whatever, everybody deserves a second chance. Even if you go to jail. If you go to jail, do your time, do your sentence, you come back out, you got a chance to become a solid citizen again. That's your right. These people, even if fired, you can still find other jobs. Now, depending on your seniority, how long you've been there, you might not be making the same money, this, that, and the other, but you can still have a life. So why is there so much bullshit? Because I don't think, with the exception of, I believe, with the exception of Chauvin, however you say his fucking name, I think he's the only one that's been fired. Even the three guys that were with him, I don't think they've been fired yet. They're still on administrative leave, but they haven't been fired. It seems like nobody gets fired. So where is the break? Where is the breakdown?
That's hard to answer.
Thank you for calling Plan B. Please hold.
Do I believe that there needs to be reform? Yes. Because a lot of the stuff that goes on, it's been this way for years. And that's kind of how people say and think is, it's always been this way.
Yeah. You could
times are changing.
Yeah, I was going to say you could get away with that before this. And actually, I can't even say this. If you want to be real about it, like, I don't know how much y'all remember, but like Rodney King really kind of put y'all on the map. Because before, literally, when you heard stories about police brutality, it was always through word of mouth. Like, hey man, June got arrested last night, they fucked, but nobody saw it but you. And if you that one nigga in the hood that's always embellishing shit, some people are gonna look at you like it ain't happened like that.
Yeah.
And then it was like since Rodney King, like every time y'all roll up, I know mad motherfuckers after Rodney King started buying, that's when you still had the real video, because the real camera. I know mad motherfuckers, some people were still on it, but either way, I knew mad motherfuckers in like where I grew up at that was out getting them just cause of that. And now we live in a day and age to where you can't get a phone that ain't got that on there. So I get what you're saying about, yeah, it's been that way for a long time, because yeah, you could get away with it. You can't now with this shit, with the body cams, all that other shit. And that's what I don't, because it seems like we're making all these advances in certain areas, but even with the advances, the end result is still the same. It seems like the most that's happening, you get a suspension. Some of y'all get a paid suspension. There's some that get paid suspension, some get a suspension with no pay. But at the end of the day, motherfuckers are still keeping their jobs, and they made catastrophic mistakes.
What do you think the reform should be for just for people that like have bad days like that?
I honestly don't know.
You don't know?
I don't.
Because I just think that really, and it's like I hate to be like cliche with it, but I think it's just like a systematic thing. Like a lot of it is built. A lot of this shit is built on racism to me. When it's the white and black, but black officers do it too. You know what I mean? To black people. You know what I mean? Honestly, if you talk to some people, they say black officers are worse.
Some of my shittiest experiences with police, and I ain't had a lot. I ain't trying to act like I'm no thug or street nigga or nothing like that, but the times I had to deal with them, some of the worst experiences I've had were from black police officers, and I was kind of in awe about it, because it was like, I would expect if the police officer looked like me, I would have expected it to a degree, because of the type of people I ran with, and most of the people I dealt with, they knew I was black, so I didn't really get no privilege. I didn't learn how to use it until later, but there were a couple times where I had some run-ins, and the cops were black, and they, like, if I would have been blind and couldn't see them, I would have swore I was dealing with some Jim Crow motherfuckers, for real.
So do you think it's a black and white thing, a racism thing,
or is it just a blue thing?
Yeah.
Not pardon the pun, but
No. I believe that there are some situations, unfortunately, that are like that, yeah. But I also believe that there's a disconnect between the police and the people. And that's what we need to get back to. There's a huge disconnect. I think a lot of people really don't understand what we do.
yeah,
And I think a lot of people think that when we show up, it's my rules, my world, whatever I say. It's not. It's not. It's really not. I have to abide by the same laws that you do. I just enforce them. Now, a lot of people don't understand the laws.
yeah. That's what I was about to say. A lot of people aren't educated. You know what I mean? But and I think that has a lot to do with some of this stuff that's going on. Because if you know your laws, you can challenge a police officer. You know what I mean? But and then that song comes on.
when that perfect timing.
Right in the middle.
And it's one of my coworkers calling me.
You're like,
That's crazy.
like that's a signal, like, hey, change the subject.
Yeah, change the
Move on. Like, hey, move on. Like,
You getting into
tired, you about to get into some shit.
Yeah.
No, in all honesty, I believe that in high school there should be like a law class of whatever city, state you live in. It should be taught. You should have police officers come into your class and talk about interactions. And I mean, I believe that there should be a mock traffic stop, because it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. And here's how we expect you to act. Here's how we are expected to act. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said there's a disconnect. There is. There's a disconnect. But again, I think a lot of that stems from these. Because the only interactions you see are the bad ones. And that's what people form their opinions off of, which there's some bad ones out there. There's a lot of us who are good and just trying to do our jobs and help the cities that we work for.
Why is it that the good ones don't speak up then?
We do. Believe me, we do. You just don't hear us.
And some of them get punished for it.
Absolutely.
I get that, but
For real.
Absolutely.
sometimes
And that's sometimes that's like, again, that's between your livelihood and, you know, life and death. Because I heard a story about the chick in Boston. I think the black lady in Boston, where she was with the white. Her partner was white. They was arresting a black guy, and he was on top of the dude choking him, and she told him to stop. Like, she went and pulled him off, and he punched her in her jaw and broke her jaw. And she got in trouble. She got fired and let go. She lost her pension. She was, I think, 2 years out from getting her pension, and they fired her, and she lost her pension, and she was homeless for like 3 years after that. But then, of course, her story got out. People started helping her out. Whatever.
say, didn't she sue them and get paid?
Yeah, she got paid for it, but it's like,
I get what you're saying. It shouldn't have happened.
you know, it shouldn't have happened like that. But she was one of the good ones that stood up. You know what I mean? But again, it just, I don't know. I don't know, because she's a black woman. Like, if a white officer would have pulled him off, like, would they would have had the same? If a white female officer would have pulled him off, would they would have had the same interaction if he would have punched her and broke her jaw?
I can tell you, I've stopped my coworkers from doing so.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just, and I know what they show us, like, because they control everything. Like, so they control what we see and shit. You know what I mean? Like, because honestly, if they didn't want none of this stuff out, it wouldn't be out. Like, you could post if I got on Instagram right now, I'm a nobody, right? If I got on Instagram right now and posted a picture of my dick, like, they're gonna take my shit down for breaching.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's gonna, because I'm breaching nudity, or I'm going against the rules of what you can post, right?
Right.
But if I get on there and I'm killing somebody, the video's gonna circulate. Why can't you just take that off too? You know what I mean? Like, and they just, I think they allow what they want us to see. To me, it's the divide and conquer. You know what I mean? Whatever. But it's hard, and I see from both sides. Again, because you're very informational. You're my best friend. You've been on the force for how long? 10 years?
Friday be 9 years.
9 years. So I can get my information from you, just like how we was talking about the open carry last night. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea, but you, like, you know, yeah, it is open carry, but you have to do it the right way. You know what I mean? Like, and you can't get in trouble for it.
But again, that goes back to education. And
Exactly.
No.
Exactly. And I personally, I haven't had a lot of run-ins with the law. I haven't never even been in the back of a cop car. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't know if that's just God's graces. Of course, I gotten pulled over before, you know what I mean? Like, and stuff like that. But that was for speeding. Most of those was for speeding and not having like a license plate or something. But even sometimes those, just a random traffic stop gets bad. You know what I mean? And somebody end up losing their life. And it's like, again, I do agree with you. It's what, like, we don't see everything from start to finish. You know what I mean? Like, we don't. But for the stuff that we are seeing, bro, I'm just saying, like, it makes me scared for you every night, especially the stories I hear. You know what I mean? Because people at y'all, like, and they just, the disconnect is there. The people do not trust the police. Like, none of that. How do you feel about defunding the police?
I think that's an absolutely bad idea.
Why you say that?
Because of the stuff that we deal with on a regular basis.
It'll be wild, wild west in this motherfucker.
Absolutely.
But defunding ain't meaning like get rid of y'all.
No.
Like, and that's what people think when you say defund, like get rid of them. It's just taking some of the budget and putting it in areas of the city or state that, right? So that's what that means?
Yeah, it does. But let me say this. You gotta imagine.
You just don't want to take no less money, nigga. You want that money to keep rolling in. That's why you don't want to be.
Nah, let me say this.
Nah, I'm joking.
Because I've been there, been in a couple SWAT barricades where dude popping off shots out his front window. When we don't have our Bearcats, our armored vehicles, stuff like that, situations just get worse.
Mm.
They just get worse because you force us to switch to different, more aggressive tactics.
Right. So you think it'll be more killing and stuff?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Bro, you've seen my hard plates.
Yeah, I
have those for a reason.
I kind of agree with it. I kind of don't for that reason. I agree with it. The other reason, like the NYPD, bro, they got like tanks for the police unit. Like what? And they just sitting there waiting for something to pop off.
Yeah.
But why do y'all need tanks?
Well, we don't have tanks.
I know y'all don't. I'm just saying, New York, their budget a year is like 1.3 billion or something like that. Like y'all can't take that down a little bit.
Well,
you have to look at their population.
Yeah, I was about to say,
there.
I understand that, but tanks, bro.
I get where you're going with it, but it's seeing that. That's why the whole talk of it gets murky because he did. I didn't think I would be agreeing with him on anything.
No,
he did. No, because
I understand what he said. That's why I say I agree with it and I don't.
Some of the shit we talk about when you ain't around, like it goes. Like how me and you got about Breonna Taylor.
Yeah,
we have moments like when some of this shit but he brings up a certain point because if you take away certain things from them to use for a situation, it's like he said you
force us to get more
it's like
aggressive.
You force them to be to where it's to where it could be a try and talk down, or maybe going through the back, sneak up on this motherfucker and grab him to where it's like, all right, we're just gonna blast the motherfucking building.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever. So I get what you're saying too, but I also
absolutely get it.
I also get what he's saying, and I think that's why on something like your home area where you're from, like there's so many fucking people. Like the population there is ridiculous.
it is. It's bananas there.
It's
New York is overpopulated.
Like I don't even see how they all fit, but I'm just like
it's overpopulated.
I'll even be one of the first people to tell you. Do I believe that the police need to respond to a lot of the stuff that we respond to? No.
Right.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
But who else is going to respond? Is the thing. Who's out there? I mean, that's just like everybody says that, they should send social workers to some things. Are you going to have social workers for all 3 shifts? And that's what a lot of it comes down to. Is actually right now where I work at, we've got a unit that specifically deal with mental people. Mm-hmm. We don't have them on 3rd shift. We don't.
So y'all got to deal with that directly.
Exactly. I mean, bro, and it comes down to $1.
Oh yeah.
It comes down to $1. That's what it comes down to.
But that's with everything, though.
Yeah.
In anything in life,
that's the unfortunate part.
It's sad, but that's the way.
Yeah. That's the way it is.
The way of the world.
I agree with some of the stuff. Some of the stuff I don't agree with. I guess that's going to be with any and every situation.
Mm-hmm.
I guess for the videos that we see, I don't understand why the first thing is to do, unless somebody has a gun or something, and you know that you're in danger.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? My problem is if he don't have a gun and you still think he's a threat, why isn't the first instinct to pull out the taser instead of his gun?
Just what I was getting ready to ask, too.
Like, can't you tase him, shock him up? Except for the weird videos when I see people eating the taser, like you put it in them and.
Well, I can explain that.
You know what I mean? You put them in it and it's not. Clearly it didn't hit the right places or whatever, but they just like, you know what I mean? Okay, at that point, I can see like, okay, this nigga is Incredible Hulk. He had his superpowers from yesterday. You know what I mean? Or whatever the case may be. But that I understand, but I don't understand when it's 4-on-1 and all of that other stuff. Like, why don't you just tase somebody, lock them up, and then do what you got to do? Why is the first thing to just shoot?
I think a lot of it comes down to training and understanding where you work at.
So these niggas need more training.
No, absolutely.
A lot more training.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, a lot of people think that we don't have continuing education. We do. Because laws are constantly changing. There's new ones constantly being made up. And we have to go off of whatever's going on in the country.
Yeah.
So we're constantly evolving and changing our tactics and doing different things. At least I know my department is. I have in service twice a year. And at least one of those is straight law. It's straight stuff that has come straight from the grand jury that says, no, you guys can't do this anymore. Or they uphold something that we did and they say, yes, we agree with this, we like it, it's good to go. Training. Again, I told you, we do a lot of scenario-based training. We put you in high-stress situations on purpose in a sterile environment. And if you mess up, then yeah, we can go, hey, this is what you did wrong.
Right.
This is how we change it. So that way, yeah, if it happens out in the street when it's not a sterile environment, you revert right back to your training and you go, oh, this is how I should handle this.
And I know every city and state has different, you know what I mean? You can't speak for everybody.
Yeah.
So when we asking these questions, it's just in the grand scheme of things.
But how do you handle, because you alluded to it earlier, because even with all that training, and because you said you've seen it, when somebody, I think you said when somebody goes cold black or blackout, whatever you called it.
Condition black.
Okay. Like, when it's a situation like that, because how is it dealt with a person like who's had all the training, who's done all the in services, and let's say for the most part has passed everything with flying colors, and then they go out there and they have a major fuck up because, like you said, they blank out. How do you assess it then? Because if he or she shows that all this training worked, and then they go out there and just fuck up royally, there has to be another answer other than retraining, because it's like, if this person was already doing everything, like the training, at least in this case, is not making a difference, good or bad.
So I'll tell you right now, you're not gonna like my answer.
I mean,
But when it comes down to, we're all human. We make mistakes. Now, I completely understand what y'all said from earlier. Is yeah, when we make mistakes, people's lives are quite often lost. But we're human.
no, that's fine.
I mean, in most cases, like especially a lot of the stuff that I've been
But
in.
what I'm saying is, like, what is done with the human element? Like, are there like mandatory therapy sessions? You got to go see a shrink. Like,
Yes, my department.
what is done?
My department.
Because if it's truly, I'm gonna give you benefit of the doubt. Try to meet you in the middle. If it is truly just a mental fuck up, not that the person was trying to be racist or they was looking for some shit to do. It was a true blue mental. Because I get what you're saying. Yeah, shit happens. Okay, fine. What is the process that you have to go through?
My department will break down what happened, and they will talk to you, and they will get you whatever retraining, therapy, help that you need to try to get you back on track.
But while you're in that therapy, so like, are you on administrative leave while you're in that therapy? Are you still allowed on the street?
Sometimes.
Like what?
It just depends on what it is.
What justifies whether you're still allowed on the street versus to where you're going to be on paid suspension for a minute because we just don't trust your ass.
That's
right
up
now.
to the powers that be.
Situation.
Yeah.
So it's all situational based.
Like I can tell you, I got pulled.
No, I remember. Yeah, I know.
I got
remember
pulled
too.
and went through retraining
That's
and
too stupid.
Shut up. Went through some retraining and a bunch of other stuff. But my department, they do try to invest in their people. They do. Like I said, I can't speak for all departments in all cities, but like I said earlier, I do believe that there needs to be some reform. But in the same, like I told you last night, I also believe people, we need more of us. We need more of us.
Well, don't go there quite yet. That's something we're gonna get into.
Okay.
So to get to the crux of all this, and we started to talk about this last night, you are in an interesting, I don't know if I want to say circle or minority circle, because in the climate we live in today, you have a job to where everybody universally hates y'all.
Yeah.
On top of that, you are also a black man in America. So, talk to us about being a black cop versus when you're off duty, being a black man. Talk to us about how you separate it. And then talk to us about with everything that is going on in today's society, how do you process it and how do you deal with it to get through the day and keep going?
So number one, I became a cop because I wanted to help the city that I live in. I grew up gunshots out the back window, watching the police chase people, this and that. That's why I wanted to become a cop. Number one. Being a black man, it hurts. I'm not gonna lie, it hurts. Especially some of the stuff that I see on social media and TV. Sometimes it is rough to make it through the day. Because I'm not gonna lie, it's hard to separate the two sometimes. It is. So I've got my cop side and I got my black side. And it's a fight between both of them. It is. It's a constant fight. And the best thing that I can do is number one, you two know I depend on my friends. You know, I talk to y'all. We get stuff out there. We talk all the time, especially about stuff like this. And that's a huge help. I think there's a lot of officers out there who don't talk about stuff, and they need to. They need to. I'm not saying it has to be therapy or with a shrink or nothing, but just talk. Talk. It does help to get other people's opinions. When you get other people's opinions, it helps you form a better conclusion of things. We're all wired different. We all think differently. So again, it helps. I mean, especially when I talk to you two. Neither one of you has a problem telling me when I'm wrong. And I greatly appreciate that. Whether it be about a police situation or just regular everyday life. And it helps in both being a cop and a black man.
That's tough. I couldn't imagine. I'm just gonna be honest. It's not something I would want to do. I couldn't do it.
So the fact that you say it's hard to separate them, I guess my question would be, so like, how do you feel literally like going into a scene knowing that motherfuckers literally just hate you for some shit? I mean, cause let's be honest, everything that has happened.
Mm-hmm.
George Floyd wasn't here. You know, Jacob Bell wasn't here. Breonna Taylor wasn't here. None of them were here. But it still impacts. It still impacts the whole nation. How do you feel knowing it's in spite of what your intentions may be? How do you feel and how do you deal with knowing 9 times out of 10 when you go into a situation, even if you're there to help, and even if they want your help, you're still gonna get attitude because of who you are. How do you deal with that aspect?
I have to put it to the side and just try to do my job. I've walked into people's homes and been cussed out, up and down, talked about like a dog. A lot of times it comes down to, do you want my help or not? I'm trying to help you. If you tell me no, I'll leave. If you tell me you do, I'm gonna try to talk to you, get to the bottom of whatever's going on, and do the best that I can. You gotta take that aspect out of it doing what we do.
But when you get to your breaking point, how do you come back? So here's the reason I asked this. When we had the protest here,
Mm-hmm.
and for those of y'all who don't know, he is an avid skater, but he also had to work the protest. Some people said some shit to you, and you basically went on your Facebook page and said you are retiring from the skate life.
Oh, I did. I didn't skate for probably 6 months.
I know, but you went back. You finally got to a point to where you either, I don't know if you forgave him or just let it go. But it had, well, I'm not, my question is, but it had got to a point to where
Really?
you were so,
Really?
it had got to a point to where you were so frustrated.
Take my stuff.
You were so frustrated that you were ready, you pretty much walked out on something that was a big part of your life, something that you loved doing because you did not like people's opinions about your profession. So at a point, what I'm saying is, so at a point, it got to you enough to where you were literally able to say, "Fuck this part of my life for a while."
When I did that, it was because emotions were too high. Kind of how we said earlier, social media, TV, they put so much stuff out there at once. There's no facts and everybody forms their own opinions. Nobody really knows anything. And the emotions were so high. Nobody was thinking straight. Everybody was running off with straight emotion. I'm not holding that against anybody. I'm not. We all feel differently. but it comes to a point where you got to take your emotions out of it eventually and go, okay, what really happened? How should I feel about this? And it's hard for people to do that.
And I think a lot of him saying what he said with this whole skating rink thing.
I just want to try
He's
him on.
nice.
Past the sunglasses?
I just want to try him on, see what's happening. I'm
Oh.
listening.
But yeah,
I feel like they're too small for my face, but
not really.
they feel like they are.
He got a little head though, so
He does,
he
man.
don't got an adult head. But I think a lot of the kickback from the Facebook thing, it also got a little personal with him because it was people that knows him.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
that was a huge part of
and,
it.
No, but
they
that
were
was-
the ones that was saying the most effed up stuff.
But that was why I asked, because regardless whether it was their emotions or his,
Right.
it had gotten so bad to a point to where he was able to give up something that he loves
Absolutely,
doing.
absolutely.
Like he was able to say fuck it and completely walk away because he had gotten to a point to where he just couldn't take it no more. And the reason I bring that up is because there are some people who are going to watch this and see that, and they're going to try and put a negative flip on it because they're going to say, well, why you leave them?
Yeah.
Why they're going to be ignorant and say, why didn't you leave the police? Well, you can't expect a motherfucker to give up his life.
Exactly.
That's what. But
Yeah,
what I'm
but
saying, but
yeah,
no, that was why I asked,
that's
because that's what some people are going to say. It was like,
they're gonna try to flip
we're
it.
already disenfranchised, and as far as they're concerned, regardless whether the fact he's black doesn't matter. He works for the people who have basically helped keep us in that position. There are some that are going to look at it and say, okay, well, why didn't you walk away from them? You seem educated and smart enough to where you could go do something else and probably make the same amount of money or be just as comfortable or whatever. That's what some are going to say.
Yeah, not when
and
you
that was
worked
why
your whole life to get there.
But that was why I asked.
So let me get back into what I was saying earlier, where I said we need more of us as police and in government and in politics. If I were to walk away, we still take a loss.
Facts.
We still take a loss.
Just one less.
Yeah.
What is the biggest reason you think that minority recruitment is so low in policing in general?
I think it's the negative stigmatism of police in general, because unfortunately the bulk of us brown people have dealt with the police in a negative way.
Right.
But the only way that changes is we get more of us on, and you got to be the change you want to see. You got to be that change. You can't expect change by screaming it. And unfortunately, that's what a lot of people do. I mean, social media gives everybody a soapbox. But what are you really changing? What are you doing? You're not. Get out. Get these police jobs, these firefighter jobs. Become judges and lawyers.
Then why not combat that through? You brought up an interesting point, because social media is a big impact on everything.
I do my positivity every night at work. I do my best to educate somebody. I go into a situation thinking, okay, how can I educate this person? How can I help them? How can I give them a better understanding of what's going on and help them in the next situation? But that's just me.
All right.
So how do you think we're getting ready to go into a new year?
Mm-hmm.
And we can all only pray that next year has been better. Next year will be better than what we've been through this year. Like as far as shit with police, as far as fucking COVID, like everything this year.
2020 opened the door.
Like
for a lot of stuff.
Everything this year has been fucked up. So you know, considering what you do for a living, like what are your hopes of next year? That, like, what do you want to see happen that'll, I don't necessarily say so y'all can get back in necessarily good graces, but what do you hope to see happen that can just, like I said, just lessen this overall
Just like
hatred?
like
this overall hatred towards them.
Well, like I said, there's a disconnect between the police and the people, and I want to see us be able to come together. Red, I take people on ride-alongs all the time.
You did before COVID.
Yeah, before COVID. And I think our ride-along program is great because it gives people a first-hand view of what it's really like to be the police. I know you experienced some stuff with me that you was like, wow, really? So yeah, this is how it is.
There was a couple things we did. I was ready to fight because I was like, this is some bullshit. Like,
Yeah, but we can't always fight.
one dude was trying to whoop his mom's ass. I still remember that. First call of the night, we answer a domestic call. It's a grown son.
Yeah.
This motherfucker's like damn near 50.
Trying to fight his
Mama
mom.
damn near 80. He
Yeah.
trying to put hands on this woman. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Like,
You gotta see me after this, bro.
yeah, like I'm standing there upset. Like, what the fuck?
Yesterday, after we get done, we gotta fight
Yeah, like,
You guys shoot the fair
yeah,
one.
we gotta shoot the fist.
Like,
Oh,
you gotta follow certain rules. I don't. Just leave and come back.
Yeah.
I come back in about 10 minutes.
I want to see that disconnect lessen, and I want to see more minorities on. Period.
So what do you think? What do you think the police have to do to lessen it? And then on the flip side of it, what do you think the community has to do to lessen it? Start with y'all first.
I was.
Oh, okay.
I think we as the police, like I said earlier, I think one, training. I think we need more community interaction when we're not policing. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like me and some of my coworkers, we believe the DARE program needs to come back. It does, because for a lot of us, or at least I can say here, our first interaction with the police was in school in the DARE program,
I just want a DARE shirt.
and that was children being able to see the police in a positive, as opposed to every day we fight with their parents and their cousins in the street. So I think that will help out tremendously, because it'll help to, again, lessen that disconnect. And then just regular dialogue. I mean, honestly, I would love to be able to sit down with people, just people asking questions. I would. I think it would be a great thing, because it'll give people a chance to ask their questions that they've always wanted to, and for us to give answers. But I believe it needs to happen with street cops and the powers that be. Because we can give a street answer, and they can give a policy answer or legal answer as to why certain things happen certain ways. And again, it's all about building that understanding.
Okay, so that's y'all's part of it. What about the community's part?
The community, one, we are not your enemy. We are not.
Despite what y'all see,
99% of us are there to help you. We really are. We really are.
90%.
Yeah,
95.
Okay, we can meet in the middle at 92.3.
Yeah. Don't say 99.
All of them is not like
Don't say now that's you being blue. Yeah, don't.
I can't help it.
I know. I'm saying, yeah, don't. Let's be real about it. Yeah.
92.3. I get it.
Let's go like 91.7 and just call it that.
Are we using radio stations now?
I'm just saying.
But all of them ain't out there for that.
The bulk of us are out there to help. Give us a chance, and understand that a lot of things that happen, it's not me being there just making up my own stuff. Again, I have to abide by the same laws that you do. The same ones. I have to abide by them.
They just get bent a little bit more for y'all, and I think that happens for
That's in life though.
it's
That's in life
everywhere.
though with anything.
Everywhere
Any job,
it don't
shit
matter
gets bent.
who you work for, because I heard like when you in certain sororities and fraternities, you can get jobs and you get discounts on cars and all of that type stuff. Like, so I think that just happens, and you know what I mean, like everybody's problem is the police are here to serve and protect. But you also have to do your duty as a citizen as well.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they are. And of course, you're going to have the bad ones. I don't know how we weed out the bad ones. Because again, the rules are bent.
So that's a good question for him.
Hold on. My department, I can tell you right now, the hiring process is very thorough. It's extremely thorough. Aside from the physical, the test taking, and all the other stuff that we go through, before you're hired on, you have to go see a shrink. That's part of the hiring process. Is you go see a head doctor. We've got 2 that work for our department. Anytime you're involved in quote unquote critical incident, it's mandatory you go see the head doctor. Now, again, I can't speak for all departments. I know some that don't do that. I believe most should. Because, yeah, like you all stated, it's a job where, we have a bad day. It's a really bad day.
Yeah. All right. That's all the questions I have. That was an actual good conversation. You got more?
About that particular
about
subject?
that, because we want to get into the nitty gritty. I'm about to argue with some niggas.
No, I think about that. That was literally it. That was a good one, I think.
You handled that pretty well, Robbie.
Yeah, he did.
I hope, Mo.
Good for you, nigga. What? All right.
I hope, Mo.
We about to get into it now. Look at
And
it.
yes, I know those of y'all are watching. Yes, I'm keeping the sunglasses on. They're not coming off until we're done.
Oh,
This light is kind of bright, though.
It is, though.
I keep trying
Because
to.
you're getting all professional and shit on us now.
I gotta go get some more so we can be brighter. I forgot the table again. That's why we in this setting.
I wasn't even gonna bring that up. Well, it's yeah. Because when I walked in and didn't see it, I was like, this. Yeah.
And I was.
But I think it's actually kind of better here because it's like we're not all.
close up.
We'd have been over there. We'd have been looking like Craig and Day Day in the security show.
Nah, you big in here.
Nigga, you big in here. Yeah.
Nah, you big in
I got
here.
action.
Sit your ass down.
Old bitches can't be selling stuff over here.
I can't be selling pussy on this corner.
What the fuck, man?
Yeah, y'all gonna make me go watch that movie.
Of the world, Craig. Of the world.
Top flight of the world, Craig.
She said she don't suck my dick on the back. I'm trying to see what that's about. You know what I'm saying? Where is it?
Yeah, I gotta watch that. Definitely gotta watch that when that's over. All right, so this is what we gonna do. We just gonna take an intermission. This is part 1. We're gonna take a quick break. We'll be back. Y'all stay tuned because it's about to get funky. I'm gonna argue with these niggas on part 2. You better believe it.
Oh, we about to have fun.
So-
We argued last night.
Stay tuned for part 2.
And you ain't even